lot of people hate iguanas. And that's something I really do not understand because I love iguanas. If you see iguanas anywhere almost, they're probably green iguanas. There are some subspecies, but by far the largest group are green iguanas. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're green. They're gray. Sometimes they're the bright orange, like the one I saw in Cancun. By the way, that one was right beside the highway. I was laying there, like, I don't care. But when they're babies, they can be bright green, like a lime green. Very startling, but they blend in with leaves beautifully so they don't get snapped up by some predator. They also have a thing called autotomy. So if they're being chased by something, they can release their tail. And the predator goes for the tail because the tail keeps moving, and they just dart off into their little shelter. I want to tell you my favorite iguana story. This happened to me when I was 26, and I was living in St. Thomas in the Virgin Islands. I lived on a little sailboat, and the guy who owned the boat lived in a rented beach house. Well, it was up on a cliff, but it was a beach house. And I used to go up there all the time because there were these iguanas. I thought they were marine iguanas, but marine iguanas only live in Galapagos. But these iguanas lived on the sea cliffs, and sometimes they'd go in the water. And I used to feed them lettuce and hibiscus. That's when I really fell in love with iguanas during those days. But one day, I used to keep some of my clothes there at the house. And this guy, Tony, wasn't there, but I had a key. So I went up and I had all my folded shirts, and I would put them on the floor of a closet. And Tony had a big cat. And when I say a big cat, this is the fattest cat I've ever seen. Looked like a black soccer ball, perfectly round. His name was Buddy. Oh my God, what a nice cat he was. So Buddy was there, and I would go up and feed Buddy. And I was going to go somewhere, so I decided to get one of my folded shirts. And I opened the closet door, and all the shirts were messed up. And I thought, oh, Buddy. Buddy went in and just made a nest or something. So I moved a shirt, and there was an enormous iguana in with my shirts. He had gone in and made a nest. So I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So he was scared, like, oh, don't get me, don't get me. So I thought, oh, poor thing. So I just said, well, I don't know what else to do. So I reached in and grabbed him. I knew iguanas are herbivores. They're vegetarians. So I thought, well, it's not going to bite me, I don't think. So I grabbed this iguana, and I had the body in this hand, and I had the tail like this. So I'm carrying him out, and I decided to look at him because he was beautiful. I'd never seen one this close, or little iridescent. And as I'm walking, all of a sudden, this autotomy kicked in. His tail separated, and I had absolutely no idea that could happen. So suddenly, I've got this iguana, and the tail comes, and I just went, ah! So the tail falls, and the iguana falls down and runs into the kitchen, and somehow there was a door open or something, in with the pots and pans, and is banging, all the pots and pans are flying. Meanwhile, the tail is right on the floor beside me, and it's moving, and I'm telling you, the hair on the back of my neck just stood straight up. And Buddy, that fat cat, saw that tail and comes flying, grabs the tail, and is walking around with this tail moving in his mouth. I said, what am I going to do? So now I'm sort of like, oh. So I go in the kitchen, and poor thing is still banging the pots and pans. So I finally got him, and I carried him out. And this is when I'm so sorry. Let him go, and off he went onto the cliffs. Oh gosh. Now I know, and I would not touch their tail. I'm not gonna fool around with that. So that's my my iguana tail.